What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Cheers. We're doing a live stream today. So I'm going to be answering your guys' questions about the app, Carbon Diet Coach, and any questions you guys have about nutrition, training, fitness, anything like that. What's up? What's up? Getting a few people in here. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. Cheers. So if you guys have questions, the best place to put them, if you're on Instagram, is in the question box thing. You can ask a question at the bottom, and then I can pull it up on the screen for everybody to see. So if you guys have questions, that's the best way to do it there. And then if you are on Facebook or YouTube, you can just drop them in the comments there, and they'll pull up. What's up? What's up, Mako? How you doing? Hey. So we have a question on Instagram. Where do you mark you were compliant in the app? So when you check in, that is where you will mark if you were compliant or not. So when you check in, it'll ask you, are you, or it'll pull in your diary information, and it'll say, were you compliant to your macro targets this past week? So it'll show a column with the macro targets, and then it'll show another column with your diary tracked information. And if all of those values are green, like the macros, you don't need to really worry about the calories. But if the macros are all green, that would mean you're compliant. So a lot of people ask, like, if you have that information, do you still have to say if you were compliant or not? So the reason why we do that is because of possibly user error is one reason. So what if you forgot to just track a single meal or a single food one day? Like literally it would throw off the whole average column. And even though you know that you were compliant because you ate the same thing that day, but you just forgot to track it, like that would throw the whole thing off. So that's why we don't automatically determine your compliance each week based on your diary information. Another reason is because some people don't use Carbon Diet Coach for tracking their diet. Like they still use MyFitnessPal or another type of tracking app. And we wanted to decouple it so that you could use whatever tracking app that you want to track. And then Carbon Diet Coach will provide you with the macro targets and adjust those each week based on how you progress. So great question. Let's see, I got a few on YouTube here. Can you go into better detail about what locking days does on the calorie planner? Yeah, David. So the calorie planner, if you guys don't know what the calorie planner is, it's basically like a 7-day period, your check-in period. You can adjust days higher and lower, and no matter how you adjust them in that calorie planner, it's going to keep your average macros on track with your goal. So you can have a high day, like if you want to have higher calories on the weekend, you can set that to be a higher calorie day, and then it'll adjust all the macros on every day so that it fits. Now, the lock feature is if you want to keep those macros at that amount on that day. So if you are using the calorie planner, let's say you want to start using it midweek, you would go in and lock the days prior so that they don't get adjusted, and then you can adjust the remaining days. So that's one reason why you might want to use that lock feature. You also can use the lock feature if you have a specific amount that you want to eat on a specific day and you don't want that to change. Like you can put that in on that day and then lock that day so that it'll always be locked at that amount, and then you can adjust the other days freely. So you don't necessarily have to use the lock feature if you, right when you check in, if you adjust your high and low days for the week, you can leave it without touching the lock feature. The lock feature is more used for like your midweek or something, and you're trying to adjust the calorie planner and you want it to adjust the right days. So hopefully that makes sense, David. Thanks for the question. Greetings, fellow nutritionist. What's up, Christos? Let's see. Here's another good one. How do you know when to end a reverse diet and start a fat loss phase? So, reverse diet, you can probably reverse diet for quite a while before you will reach a point where it makes sense to switch off. A lot of people don't reverse long enough, in my opinion, and give it time. It takes time to improve your metabolic rate. So, not being in a deficit and spending an extended amount of time in a small calorie surplus or something will really help to improve your metabolism. And so the signs of like when you're reaching that point of where your metabolism is optimized, one sign would be if you start gaining weight linearly each week over the course of like 3 to 4 weeks. If you notice that carbon doesn't give you an increase on the reverse diet setting for like 4 weeks, that's a really, really easy sign to know that, okay, this reverse diet is probably done. And you should probably cut it there because you're just going to be gaining weight too quickly. You aren't necessarily improving your metabolic rate anymore because the increase in calories isn't really stimulating more a faster metabolism. So at that point, you might want to switch. Another sign would be in carbon, we actually give you an alert of your metabolism appears to be in a good place. So this is based on your calories that you're consuming, as well as your lean body mass and where you started in terms of your calories with the reverse diet. So if you receive an alert saying your metabolism appears to be in a good place, then you know it could be time to stop. You don't have to stop at that point, but you could stop. You could keep going though, and going until you notice that weight gain. So I like to reverse diet until I notice I'm gaining weight kind of linearly each week, and then I'll switch things up. So great question though. Let's see. Got another one on Instagram, or no, YouTube, sorry. I'm reversing and I'm almost at my predicted maintenance. Should I switch over to build or stay at reverse if I'm wanting to build muscle? Let's see. So I would probably stay reversing. I mean, it doesn't sound like you're necessarily gaining weight too quickly or anything like that. On the coach tab, there is the maintenance calorie number. Now that's just based on how your body's responding with your check-ins. So it's based on the calories you consume and then your check-in data. So with that, it's not always in line with the macro targets that you're on a reverse diet. So there might be a discrepancy between your dietary macro targets and then that maintenance calorie number you see. It sounds like those two are getting closer and closer together, which is a great thing, but that's not really a sign you need to switch your setting at all. Like I would probably just keep reverse dieting. You can definitely build muscle while you're reverse dieting. It's basically, a very small surplus each day. So that can be enough to optimize the muscle building process. So I would probably stick with reverse dieting. The reason why you would want to go with the build setting would be if you want to force your body to gain weight. So that's kind of the fundamental difference between the reverse diet setting and the gain weight setting. Like on the gain weight setting or the build setting, it's going to force you to gain a certain amount of weight each week. And it's going to keep adjusting those macro targets until you reach that rate of gain. So it's basically the opposite of the weight loss setting. So if that's what you want and you want to force your body to gain weight every single week, go with that setting. But for most people, they don't necessarily want to force their body to gain weight, and they want to just kind of do it more naturally over time with a reverse diet and putting on muscle. So in that scenario, I'd go with the reverse setting. Okay, let's see. Back to Instagram. Is attempting to recomp at maintenance just spinning your wheels in terms of physique goals? It will really depend on your experience level. So if you are a new to training, for example, new to weight training, you can build muscle just fine at maintenance, and you can lose fat. Well, you're not going to lose fat at maintenance, but you're going to be able to build muscle at maintenance. And actually, sorry, you're going to be able to recomp at maintenance if you are a newbie. So you will be losing fat and building muscle at the same time, but your weight isn't going to necessarily change because you're at maintenance. But you can do that for a while if you're a beginner, but once you reach like the intermediate or more advanced in your training, it's going to be really hard to build muscle at maintenance or recomp at all. So if you aren't new to training and you're at maintenance, but you want to lose body fat and build muscle, you are going to be spinning your wheels. I see so many people not commit to, fat loss phase or not commit to doing a gaining phase and just want to try to stick at maintenance and try to reach their goal. And they end up not ever changing because they've been training a while. They're not going to be building muscle and losing fat at the same time. So like I said, it depends, but most people, you probably want to have distinct phases of, okay, I'm going to focus on losing body fat now, and you're going to lose body fat until you get to a place where maybe dieting is hard, you're happy with your body fat percentage, then you can build up from there. So then you can focus on gaining weight, gaining muscle, and build up from there. And so having more distinct phases is probably a better idea for most people. Tanya on Facebook, love the information. Thank you for tuning in. We do these every Friday, and it seems like people really love them, and it's really helping a lot of people. So thank you, I appreciate that. Let's see here. I'm trying to find, okay. So Chloe's asking, is there a way to correct a mistake in the check-in? Like, can we delete our check-ins and do another one? Chloe, we don't allow you to do that just because there would be a lot of people really playing with the app in terms of maybe they would use it to coach their clients or something. They would do a check-in, delete it, then they'd put in different information, do a check-in, and get those adjustments and maybe pass them along to their clients. Like, this app is made to coach you and not necessarily be a tool for coaches to coach their clients. So that's one reason why we didn't allow users to delete their own check-ins. But with that said, on our end, we can delete your check-in. So if you make a mistake, reach out to us at support@joincarbon.com, and we will take care of it. So we can delete your check-in and allow you to redo it. So yeah, that's that. Let's see. Currently at 1,290 calories at fat loss, going on vacation in a month. Should I switch to reverse so that I can eat more during my vacation? I would. If you are at a body fat percentage you're happy with, it's usually better to not diet right into a vacation where you have low calories. Like, a month isn't that much time to kind of improve your metabolism and kind of get your calories up higher, but it's better than nothing. So I wouldn't just straight diet into the vacation, because a lot of people, when they go on vacation, they end up eating quite a bit. And if you're in a state where your metabolism is really suppressed and then you overeat a lot, like, you're going to gain a lot of body fat on vacation. So I see a lot of people that kind of really screw things up in terms of that. A big one is, like, people are going to go on vacation and, like, go on a cruise, or, for example, like, everybody that goes on a cruise wants to lose body fat, look good in their bikini and their swimsuit or whatever, and they want to just diet right into it, get super lean, and then they don't have like a game plan for while they're there or anything. Like they just reach that body fat goal and then they go there. They end up gaining tons of weight on their vacation, tons of body fat, rebounding like crazy. So it's kind of like how people competing in bodybuilding, you know, like they diet into a show. They're really like their metabolism's really suppressed. Like, and then they have that kind of cheat meal after the show and maybe continue it on for a few days. Like you can add a ton of body fat in that scenario. It's a little less when you're like doing the vacation thing and you're not like crazy lean, but it's still not a good place to be in. So Gwendy, I would definitely reverse diet into your vacation if you are able to. Great question. Let's see here. So Mako is asking, just recently started a high volume mesocycle this week and legs are still pretty sore with another leg session tomorrow. Thoughts on hitting a muscle group that's still sore from the last session? I would say it's completely fine. It's just sore because it's more of a new stimulus for you and a new type of training. So it's not necessarily something that you're always going to be doing. So maybe these first few weeks, you're going to be sore going into your workouts, but it's going to get a ton better each week as long as you're consistent with your training approach. So you might need to just fight through the soreness the first few weeks. And then after that, it's going to be, your soreness is going to be drastically decreased. So I would try to just fight through it if you are able to. Now, if it's like crazy DOMs, like you can't even walk, like then you overdid it in terms of where you were before the new program and then what you're doing now. Maybe you want to more slowly ramp things up. So yeah, there is that. Back to Instagram. I've been in a deficit for almost 2 years. I'm down 144 pounds and almost my goal. 39 years old, 5'9", male, about. The fat to fit, that got cut off, but congratulations on the amazing weight loss, 144 pounds. That's insane. Like you should be very proud. And if you do have a question though, send another one, but make it a little shorter so I can read the whole question. Thoughts on how to implement a day or two of fasting using your app? You can't. So we don't necessarily promote full day fasts or anything like that. So that's not something you can do with Carbon Diet Coach. Let's see. Oh, Mako. Also, Carbon bumped my calories up by 250 today, right on time with this high volume period, which is perfect. The app is very smart, and I'm glad that it kind of lined up with your high volume training and everything's working out. So those extra calories you can put to good use. Let's see. Eating 20 grams of extra protein 3 times a week while keeping TDEE stable, mark compliant at check-in. I no, because you didn't hit the macro targets, but overeating on protein is probably the least harmful thing you can do in terms of energy balance, because protein is very thermogenic, meaning it burns a lot more calories digesting, like utilizing it in your body and breaking it down. So it's a lot more forgiving in terms of protein versus overeating in carbs or fats. But it still sounds like you're quite a bit over. So I would just work on getting it closer to the targets. And yeah, like just hitting the macro targets and hitting the protein each day, I think is really important. So I just work on that. And then when you're able to do that, then you can start marking compliant. So fat fit, sorry, I was asking about, should I reverse or maintenance at 1,600 calories currently in carbon. So I would probably reverse diet. So you've been dieting for quite a while. You lost quite a bit of weight. Your calories are decently low, like 1,600 calories for a male. It's pretty low. So you're definitely going to want to reverse diet out of this situation. And I would do it. So it depends on how you're feeling, but you might want to do it a little more quickly off the start just because of the amount of weight loss you've had and where your calories are at currently. I guess it all depends on how you're feeling. If you're feeling really deprived, you might want to do it a little quicker, but I would go with reverse dieting over maintenance because right now with your calories at 1,600, your metabolism is going to be suppressed. So your maintenance is going to be lower. And if you were to just switch over to maintenance, you're never going to get those calories back up to where they need to be to sustain over the long term. So definitely go with the reverse diet setting in carbon. But again, congrats on the huge weight loss. That's amazing. So Eddie, my calories have gotten really low and feel like I'm going to starve, but the app hasn't told me to change. So I'm confused because you're saying the calories got really low, making it seem like it's the coach is adjusting you down, but then you said it hasn't told you to change. So I'm not really understanding, I guess, the question there. Sorry. Hey Keith, about my extra 20 grams of protein, I reduce some carbs or fats and leave a bit and eat a bit higher calories because of the thermic effect of protein, like 20 plus. This isn't compliant. I mean, why are you doing that? I mean, yes, protein is more thermogenic than carbs and fats, but with that kind of thought process, like why not just only consume protein then? Like I don't understand why you would want to do that where you would eat 20 grams of protein extra on a few days. Like if you want more protein, up your protein target every single day and just be consistent with it. That's my 2 cents there. Jared is asking, will cardio suggestions ever be an option? I'd love to have the option to give me an idea of what to add instead of keep dropping calories. So Jared, you can kind of do this yourself. Like if you don't want the app to keep dropping your calories, you just need to be more active and adding more cardio. So you can add in cardio however you feel, and the app is going to kind of make up the difference in terms of where your calories need to be. So yeah, it would be great to do it, to have the coach kind of prescribe you cardio, but I think we're a little ways off from doing that. But for now, like the app finds where you need to eat to progress at the rate that you want, regardless of what you're doing for cardio, activity, those types of things. It's going to keep adjusting your calories to find that point where you're progressing. So if you want to not have calories go really low, you just got to be more active. So just add in some activity, and then after a few weeks, it's going to kind of find that new baseline for you. Let's see. On rest days, I feel like some extra protein like this helps me recover a bit better, especially after leg days. I mean, I don't really think that's really going to help much at all. If you're eating an adequate amount of protein already, which you would be if you're using carbon. So, but you can feel free to use it however you want. Like I'm just giving you my thoughts on that. But if you are swapping carbs and fats for more protein during the week, like at least that you're not over consuming. If your calories are good, you're not over consuming and pushing yourself out of a deficit. So there's that. I mean, I'm at 160 grams of protein a day, but I'm struggling, or I'm having a hard time hitting that goal consistently. Any suggestion on a high protein, low fat foods? I'm starting to get tired of chugging protein shakes. So a lot of people think protein shakes are the only way to get protein. Like there's a ton of high protein foods that are also like lower in fat. That's the key, is like choosing high protein, lower fat foods. Because if you're having fatty proteins, you're going to easily go over your fat. So the key is to have lean proteins, and my favorites are like chicken breast, tuna. I really like turkey breast, like ground turkey, lean ground turkey. Lean ground beef is good. Milk, but you're going to get quite a few carbs with it. So they do sell like lower carb milks that are amazing. So if you could get one of those, that'd be good. Greek yogurt is also a great source of protein, and you can get a fat-free version, so it's very low in fat. Let's see, what else? And then obviously, yeah, protein powder. Egg whites, great source of protein. If you live in the United States, we sell fat-free cheeses, which are super high in protein, zero fat. So there's a ton of different high protein foods that you can include in your diet. You just need to add more variety. And then if you have that variety in your diet and you're still not reaching your protein target, you just need to eat more, like higher portion sizes, like bigger portion sizes, because it's currently not working for you. You just need to increase the portion sizes. But if you're a female and it's saying to eat 160 grams of protein, you either one have really high lean body mass, which is great. I mean, a lot of muscle, or the body fat number that you put in the app is not necessarily completely accurate, and it's thinking that your lean body mass is high, because 160 grams of protein is quite high for a female, in my opinion. So maybe decrease it if you're really struggling. It all depends on, though, like your current weight and your actual body fat percentage. But there's my recommendation for high protein sources, and then I would look into possibly lowering the protein if you're really, really struggling. Great questions today, guys. Appreciate all these. Let's see if we got some more on YouTube here. So how do you recommend going from conservative reverse diet to a muscle gain? Would I go a more aggressive reverse or straight to gain? So Nathan, if you want to gain a certain amount of weight each week, then yes, I would switch over to doing the weight gain setting. And you can go right from reversing to gaining weight. So you can just switch your setting right over. And it all depends on, if you want to gain weight, or if you don't necessarily want to force your body to gain weight, but you want to be able to gain muscle, like maybe reverse dieting is better, but you can easily just switch right over. And when you switch over, the app is going to, if you let it, the app is going to allow you to use your currently estimated maintenance. So if you've been checking in with the app for quite a while, on the conservative reverse, should have a good idea of where your true maintenance is at. And then when you switch over, the mass gain is going to use that maintenance to determine where your calories need to be to gain weight at that rate. So that's going to be really accurate if you've been using the app for a while. So feel free to switch over to gain if you want to force your body to gain weight. Let's see here. Opinion on incomplete protein sources, taking from your daily total goal. I'd like to get all my protein from meat, but I find myself lowering meat portions in order to not go over protein targets due to bread. So you don't have, every protein source in your diet does not have to be complete, as long as you're having complementary sources. So if you're a vegan or vegetarian, you can still get a good profile of amino acids as long as you're smart with how you're pairing your proteins. So you're pairing incomplete proteins, but they're complementary to each other in terms of the amino acid profile. So you don't have to have your whole diet be complete proteins. Now, with that said, like what I think is optimal is having in each one of your meals having a high quality complete protein source. But that doesn't mean 100% of your protein needs to come from that. But in each meal, I would aim to have a high quality protein source. So like that would be like meat or something where it's a complete protein. And then you can have other things like bread make up some of the protein, or veggies make up some of the protein. So yeah, just aim for that high quality source in each meal though. That's super important. All right, so so Eddie, this was a while back. I'm at 1360 calories per day, and it feels really low. As it should change my diet. As in, should I change my diet or should continue? So if you're a male and it's giving you 1360 calories, I think something was input incorrectly. I can see that being very difficult for any male to kind of follow. So I would change your diet. I would confirm, I'd recreate a goal and maybe confirm all the information you're putting in and make sure you're giving the app completely accurate information, because it can't like, it's not psychic, and it's based on the information you put in. So you got to make sure that the information you put in is correct. If it is correct and you're at 1360 calories and you're a male, I would definitely consider doing a reverse diet for quite a while to work on building muscle and building your metabolism. Let's see. Hi, I've just started using the app for a week now and looking forward to checking in. How does the app work out the calorie requirements and whether it has AI to know how a body responds over time? So this app was built by myself, Lane, and Holly, and it's based on years of coaching experience between us, many coaching clients, on how we've coached clients in the past. We built the algorithm to coach clients how we would coach clients. So it's going to, I can't really give away how the calories are determined. I can say though that the initial calculation is based on a formula, but we kind of made our own proprietary formula for the initial calculation. So I can't really give that away. And then the adjustments each week are completely based on how your body responds. So whatever goal rate you have set and the progress that you make is going to determine what needs to happen with your calories and macros. And it's going to, the more you check in, the more accurate it's going to get over time. It's going to learn your body. So over time, if you're compliant, it's going to start looking at average weights instead of just like your weekly start and end weight. It's going to look at the trend over time. It's going to evaluate a lot of information to determine the best possible adjustment for you. So just my biggest advice if you're just starting out is trust the process, trust the app. There's been a lot of effort put into the algorithm, the coaching algorithm. So if you follow it, it's going to get you to where you want to go. So just trust it and let the app take over. On my third week with carbon and already down 7 pounds. That's amazing. That's some really great progress right there. Let's see. I commute to work 10 miles to and from work. How should I factor this into the carbon coach? So you don't have to. So the coach is going to learn your body and learn your activity level, and then find where it needs to be for your macros for you to progress at whatever rate you have set. So to start out though, you want to enter in a activity level that is as close as possible to what you're currently doing, and that'll get you started off on the right foot. And then the Carbon Coach is going to take over from there through your check-ins to find exactly where you need to be eating to lose weight. So, or if that's your goal. So the biggest thing is consistency with your activity level. So if you have 1 week where you are very inconsistent and you basically do nothing, and then you have the next week where you're super active, doing a ton, like, and you have this kind of bouncing effect of some weeks you're active, some weeks you're not, like, that's going to throw things off in the app. And as a coach, I always want to encourage people to be consistent in everything they do. So that's with their macros each week, that's with their activity levels, it's with their training. Like, the more consistency you can build into your lifestyle, the better off this is all going to be. And so that's my recommendation. Just kind of let the app take over and check in. And if you're consistent with that commute to work, which I assume you're going to be as long as you're working there, it'll be fine. Let's see. Appreciate all the questions, guys. These are all great. I'm trying to get to most of them. There's quite a few. Let's see. So Melissa asks, I'm a brand new user to the app, and I'm wondering where I should start learning how to understand what I'm doing, such as creating a diet, meal plan, etc. Melissa, the first place I would point you to is our help center. So if you have the app downloaded, you can go to the settings and then go to, I believe it's support and then help center. That'll take you to a link to our help center on our website. And there is a ton of videos and information on the basics of the app, like, and how to use each feature of the app. So that's going to be very helpful for you if you're a newbie to it. Another great place to go is actually to join the Facebook group. So I see you're on Facebook. I believe that I'm doing this live on our page, but we have a group. So if you just go to our main page and look, you should be able to find our group. And if you just ask to join our Carbon Diet Coach group, there's a ton of people in the group, and everybody's super helpful for helping beginners get to know the app, like motivation. Like, there's a ton of awesome posts in the Facebook group. So I would definitely recommend joining the Facebook group if you are new to the app and want to understand how the app works, see other people use it. That's a great place to go as well. So outside of those two, if you have like any further questions about the app, you can always reach out to us by submitting a support request. So you can do that in the app as well. If you go to settings and then support, you can submit a support request, and we can help answer any questions you have if you are unable to find them through other means. But I hope I hope you enjoy the app. And like I said, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Let's see. 4 pounds away from goal after 3 weeks using Carbon. What do you recommend I do once I reach my goal? That's amazing. So if you aren't losing a ton of weight and you are going to be hitting your goal in 3 weeks, like, you could just go right to maintenance right after you reach that goal. Reverse dieting is really helpful more for kind of coming out of a longer term diet. So if you've been dieting for quite a while, you have to lose a lot of weight. But those scenarios are where you may want to do reverse dieting over a maintenance setting. But since you only have 4 pounds to go, and you've been using the app for 3 weeks, and you're happy, I guess you would be happy with your maintenance calories where they are at currently, then you can go to maintenance. So wait till you hit that, goal weight that you have look at where the app is estimating your maintenance calories at, and then decide if you're happy eating those calories and maintaining there, or if you want to work on building your metabolism from there. If you do want to go the building metabolism route and doing a reverse diet, I would highly recommend overshooting your weight loss goal, because when you reverse diet, you're going to gain a little bit of weight, but the weight you gain is not directly in proportion to the the metabolic increase that you get from reverse dieting. So you might want to overshoot your goal weight by a few pounds or so. I like going like 5 pounds over my goal weight if I'm going to do like a longer term reverse diet. But if you're going to do maybe a shorter reverse diet, you don't have to get calories up super high, then maybe overshoot your goal weight by a couple pounds, 2-3 pounds or something like that. What do you consider a lot of weight? I would say if you're, it's hard to put a number on because it depends on your current body weight, like in like a percentage of your total body weight. So let's see. I would say if you lose more than maybe 5%, maybe more than 5% of your current body weight, that might be considered a lot. I'd have to look at examples to make sure that that's completely accurate. But yeah, a lot of weight is very, I guess, it's very open to interpretation. Looking to switch from Avatar, what can I expect? You can expect so I'm not completely well-versed in what Avatar is currently offering their users. We're focusing on just providing the best user experience that we can as a company. So I can't really speak to exactly what they offer you and how it might differ from us. But the Carbon Diet Coach offers a built-in food tracker, a coach that will adjust your macros each week based on how your body progresses. Our coaching algorithm is, in our opinion, the best in the business. It's built by myself, Lane, and Holly based on many, 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 many years of coaching experience and clients, and learning what works best for people and kind of what we see and what we would want to do as a coach. So the app is really, if you can't afford a nutrition coach, this is the next best thing. And we try to make it as close as possible to how we would adjust people's macros. So there's many features in the app that you can use to stay on track. Like we have a calorie planner that helps you to plan out your week in terms of how you want to split up your calories. We have a recipe feature. You can build recipes. You can make custom foods. You can scan barcodes. You can do a ton of things. So our food tracker is built into the app, and it has quite a few features in it. You can analyze a lot of your data. So like we keep a rolling kind of estimate of where your maintenance calories are at, which is kind of cool. You can see how that changes over time based on what you're doing, what settings you're using. Yeah, so I hope that helps, and I hope we can gain your business someday and you enjoy the app. All right. Opinion on Walden Farms. I recently discovered the magic of their maple and chocolate syrups, and it's pretty scary how much I like it for how little trace calories it has. So, Mako, I don't know if you saw on the Team BioLane page today, I had a guest post on there and on Instagram, and I posted like my go-to low-calorie sauces, and Walden Farms is definitely on that list. I really enjoy Walden Farms, especially when I'm dieting, when calories are low, because they taste really good and the calories are pretty low. So I use them, but I kind of reserve Walden Farms products to when I'm actually dieting and calories are low. I don't just always include them in my diet, but they're a great, in my opinion, a great diet food to include in your diet where you can save a lot of calories. And the chocolate syrup and the maple syrup are legit. One thing I would recommend avoiding at all costs is their is their peanut butter. Literally the worst thing I've ever tasted in my life. So I guess you can't get around the awesomeness of peanut butter and get that same great taste for low calories, which kind of sucks. I mean, the closest thing you can get is, in my opinion, PB2. It's like a powdered peanut butter where you mix with water. It doesn't have the same consistency as true peanut butter, but it's powdered peanuts, so it's and then they take out the fat, so it's basically the same thing, but it's just not the same as just eating true peanut butter. But yeah, so love Walden Farms. They're one of my go-tos. What percentage of total fat should saturated fat be? I think the majority of your fats should come from unsaturated sources. So like monounsaturated, polyunsaturated. Those are going to be more of your quote unquote healthy fats. You don't have to completely avoid saturated fat, but I would try to keep saturated fat pretty low. Definitely keeping it to 1/3 of your total fat intake. So make 2/3 of your fat intake coming from unsaturated sources, and then you can have maybe 1/3 coming from saturated fat, and you would be fine. But yeah, saturated fat is definitely not the best kind of fat to eat because it's not considered healthy fats. I love Walden Farms. What are your thoughts on tracking? Currently track the syrups as 5 calories per serving. As I know, 0 cal doesn't exist. Is this approach okay? So I think you'd have to look up online. I believe like a whole bottle has, I don't know, maybe like 25 calories or something like that, but each individual serving is so low that they can put 0 on the label. But if you have like, you know, 1/4 of a bottle or something like that, that's definitely going to have some calories. So I would try to figure out how much you're actually having. So maybe instead of looking at the per serving, look at how much calories are in the whole bottle, and then kind of try to figure out how many you had from it. I personally don't like have a ton of Walden Farm stuff, so I don't usually track it, but you probably should track it. I'm probably not being a good influence telling you not to track it, so I would try to figure out how much it has. How long does it take to increase metabolism? I'm 245 pounds, 20% body fat, and I have to eat 2,000 calories and relatively low carb, I'm assuming just to lose weight or something. It got cut off. So if you have to eat low calories, you either are very inaccurate or your metabolic rate is just slow. So I guess first figure out, are you just really inactive and you need to be more active, or do you have a suppressed metabolism from like years of yo-yo dieting or stuff like that, where you've been in a calorie deficit for a long period of time and your metabolism's suppressed? So first figure that out. But how long does it take to increase? It takes quite a while in terms of seeing a meaningful increase. So I would say a general rule, like if you're dieting, you should probably expect to reverse diet for the same amount of time, just on the other end. So if you diet, it takes you, let's say 20 weeks to lose the weight that you want and reach the body fat goal that you have. By the time that 20 weeks is over, your metabolism is going to be really suppressed. You're going to want to reverse that with a reverse diet. And usually it's about the same amount of time frame to kind of get your metabolism back to normal, optimize it, get it to where it needs to be. So I would say how long it takes, it depends on how low it is and how long you've been in a deficit. Is it important to enter body fat while reversing using carbon? So you don't even have to the only time you have to enter body fat into the app is if you're creating a new goal, because that is what we base protein on. So we base protein on your lean body mass. So we need that body fat number to figure that out on your goal creation. But then on each check-in, you don't need to enter body fat. So there are things built into the app, though, that if you do enter body fat, we can possibly make some better adjustments in terms of if we notice that your lean body mass is changing significantly, it could alter your adjustments. So let's say if you're in fact recomping, let's say you lost a bunch of muscle and you are just going back to the gym again, and you are doing a fat loss diet or something like that, and you check into the app. If the app sees that let's say you don't lose weight on a given week, but your lean body mass is increasing, so you're actually building muscle and losing fat at the same time, the app can sense that by seeing how your body fat changes over time, and then it could keep your calories the same. Like if you didn't lose weight on a weight loss goal, but it sees that change, it's going to sense that your lean body mass increased, and it's going to say your calories are still fine because you're still progressing. I mean, you're losing body fat. That's obviously part of the goal. So the more information you provide the app, generally the better adjustments it's going to get. So that goes for entering body fat. It's going to help just the app have more data to work with, and that's always a better thing in my opinion. But don't have to stress about it. Like if it's difficult for you to test your body fat, you can just go by your weight each week and check in. But when you weigh yourself, I highly recommend you weigh yourself multiple times per week and enter that into the app, because the more times you weigh yourself, the app can look at the average. If it's not your first week on a goal, the app is going to look at your average and determine the progress based on your average and trend if you're weighing multiple times. So I usually recommend people weigh multiple times and enter that into the app. Let's see. Is the estimated body fat accurate? It depends. If you enter accurate information into the fields, it's going to be, the estimated value is going to be close. But if you enter some wacky numbers, it's going to be pretty inaccurate. So it all depends on the inputs you put into it. All right. Let's see. During intermittent fasting, I work out on an empty stomach right after waking up. I know it's not right, but I perform well in the gym. So what do you think is sustainable? Or I have to wake up on an empty stomach and drink a cup of coffee and 1 to 2 bananas. So if you don't notice any kind of decrements in your performance and you're fine with training fasted, like you can. It's not ideal, like you said, it's not right. Like it's not the optimal thing to do if your goal is to build muscle. But if you're cool with not optimizing things, then continue doing what you're doing. I personally won't train when I'm fasted. I just can't. So I would maybe, if I don't have a lot of time before my training, I still am going to have something. Like I'll make a shake or something with, like I'll make a smoothie or something that I can just take with me or whatever, or grab a protein drink and a banana or something, just something to have in your body so you're not completely fasted when you're training. I think it's important. So yeah, everybody can eat before they train. But if you feel like you're going to throw up if you eat shortly before your training, then maybe try to move your workouts. Maybe try to work out later in the day if you're able to. So there's a lot of things you can do, but not eating and training fasted is definitely not optimal for muscle building. So is it normal to struggle a little hitting macros after taking a week at maintenance? I have noticed this with a lot of people. I would say yes. So it depends on your personality type, but so this is why I sometimes don't like people to do diet breaks, because it kind of breaks up their consistency, and they can't kind of make that mental switch back to, okay, now I'm back into a deficit, I'm dieting. Like when they go to maintenance, people tend to loosen up their tracking. They're not as strict. They're maybe not tracking everything. And then when they go back to fat loss, they don't go back into being more accurate. So I think that can be a reason why a lot of people struggle going to back into fat loss after like a week at maintenance or something. So for most people, I would recommend starting out just trying to diet and be consistent and not go the diet break route. Diet breaks can work great for more advanced people, in my opinion. But if you're more of a Gen Pop person just looking to lose body fat and weight, those type of people often struggle with consistency. So I would not do diet breaks, because it's really a mental shift each time you kind of go to a diet break and then go back to dieting. Like I would try to be more consistent, hit macro targets every single week, and just lose weight straight dieting first. And then if you get to a place where you are really struggling and you think mentally taking a week at maintenance is going to help you be able to push again hard with a deficit and be more compliant, then you can implement them. But I think implementing them off the start might not be the best move for a lot of people. So I have, I think, a few more minutes here. I'll take a few more questions. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you guys are enjoying this, be sure to give it likes, give it hearts wherever you're at. We do these every single Friday. So one of the co-founders hops on here, answers your questions about the app. Once a month, all three, Lane, Holly, and I hop on here, answer your guys' questions. So if you like these and you want us to keep doing these, be sure to give us some love, some hearts, some likes. One more thing, when I break my fast with the first meal, I have to eat both types of carb, complex, and simple. Not only simple, so my body doesn't store that as fat, right? So the storage of fat is going to come down to energy balance over the course of days, weeks. So what you eat in a single meal, you're not going to gain body fat, but let's say you overeat in a single meal, you're going to be, in the acute sense, like right after that meal, you're going to be storing more body fat than you're burning. So in that time point of the day, you're going to be having more body fat and more whatever. But then at later points in the day, if your energy balance is right throughout the day, at later points in the day, you're going to be pulling from those extra fat stores that you added earlier in the day. So it all evens out at the end of the day, and it all comes down to energy balance. So speaking specifically to your question, though, about eating both complex and simple carbs, you can. It's not something that you have to do, but I like to have, a piece of fruit as more of like a simple carb that also gives me some fructose to help me replenish my liver glycogen. And then I'm more of a complex carb, like some kind of oats or something that's more complex that'll help with the glycogen. So I personally like to have both complex and simple, but for most people, you don't need to go down that rabbit hole and really overcomplicate things. Just make sure that you are, hitting your macro targets at the end of the day, and that's what matters most. These lives are incredibly helpful. Thank you so much, and please keep doing them. We will, if you guys keep tuning in and asking all these great questions, we're going to keep doing these. If you guys find these helpful, we're going to keep doing these. So just show us the love if you guys like these, and we will keep doing them. But it's going to kick me off here any second, so I'm going to hop off. I appreciate everybody tuning in this Friday. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will catch you next week. See you guys.